going on? Apparently, we as the United States are slowly getting surrounded by Russian ships. And why isn't the news talking about this? We're talking about Russian warships, nuclear warheads, and hypersonic missiles, and it's not even on the news. And Russian ships off the coast of Hawaii, not even 25 miles. We apparently have Russian nuclear missile ships off the coast. We've got many reports up near Alaska. We've got reports of them being off the Hawaiian coast, not even 25 miles. And the new one creating all the buzz is the one off the East Coast, supposedly a Russian hypersonic nuclear tipped missile ship with nuclear warheads and hypersonic missiles. This one is expected to only be around 100 miles off the coast. So is it just me, or does it look like we're slowly getting surrounded? Here in this article of Newsweek, you can see it's titled Russian and Chinese Navy ships spotted less than 100 miles off the coast. Real quick, this article said a group of Russians and Chinese warships were spotted in the Bering Sea several dozen miles off of the Alaskan island. Now, this wasn't just a couple ships. I believe there was 7 or more ships. Crew of Legend-class cutter USCGC Kimball monitoring a surface action group compromising at least 7 ships, 4 of the Russian Navy and 3 of the Chinese People's Liberation Army. A statement said by the Chinese Navy's Type 055 destroyer Nat Chang, which the U.S. classifies as a guided missile cruiser, sailed approximately 75 nautical miles north of Kiska Island. The Nanchang was joined by 2 other Chinese vessels and 4 Russian naval vessels. And they weren't separated, they were all in single file order. So what we know is that they're breaking the rules. They're entering in zones that they're not supposed to be in. Is it by accident? Absolutely not. And more concerning, across the board, the Russians and the Chinese seem to be working pretty tight together, especially when they're traveling in single file lines together. In this photo right here, listed in the Newsweek article, you can see that the U.S. Coast Guard is spotting the foreign naval vessel resembling the Russian Navy. This picture right here, a destroyer from the Chinese People's Liberation Army. Now you can definitely see that these are not ships that are like scientific explorers that got off course. These are warships. These are fighting ships. Crazy thing is that it's only about 25 miles off the coast of Hawaii. In this article of the New York Post, it headlines, U.S. Coast Guard tracking Russian intelligence gathering ship off of the Hawaiian coast. In this picture, you can see the U.S. Coast Guard has a picture of it announced Wednesday only. So here's a photo captured by the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard has been tracking the vessel off the coast of Hawaii, believed to be a Russian intelligence ship. In this zoom photo right here, you can definitely see the military personnel. The ship was seen in the U.S. economic exclusive zone of the U.S. Coast Guard. So see, the part that I don't understand is that they're hanging out in our zone. And when I say in our zone, really deep into our zone, you can probably see this ship right off the island. At the same time, we seem to have a problem with Russia. We seem to have a problem with China. And it seems like NATO is slowly moving closer and closer to conflict. With all of those type of current events happening and their ships closing in on the United States, this World News article from Pravda.ru titled, Russian submarine with 160 nukes on board surfaces off the U.S. coast. Each of the missiles in the service with the submarine is capable of carrying up to 10 nuclear warheads. This created an extremely serious danger for the United States, given the U.S. military have not been able to track the Russian nuclear submarine. A submarine of the class is capable of destroying most of the territory of the United States of America in minutes. And the report says that they never even knew it was there until it surfaced. Russian nuclear submarines will be able to consistently patrol the waters near the U.S. coast in the event that Russia decides to build a naval base in Cuba or Venezuela, as representatives for the Russian Foreign Ministry earlier said. This thing is known to be carrying hypersonic nuclear tipped missiles. So a lot of people are asking, what type of threat could this pose? Well, how long does it take a missile to get up to where it needs to be? 40 seconds. And looking at this map right here, do you guys realize, hypothetically, if this thing was detonated straight above Omaha, the EMP coverage is huge. It would cover almost the entire United States. And that's a war game strategy. Take out the communications as fast as possible, and it can give you a leg up. It just seems to me a little bit ironic that it looks like we're getting surrounded by Russia. We may or may not be crazy, our leadership, enough to jump into a world war like that, because it's out there, Lavrov, Russia now engaged in a real war with the West over Ukraine. The troubling escalatory rhetoric from the Kremlin's top diplomat comes as Russia appears concerned about the game-changing NATO shipments of Leopard tanks to Ukraine. War games, and they are happening.